It's time for spelling analysis, and today we get to use our new Latin spellings of sh. Be listening for those. The first word is physician. She went to visit the physician at the clinic. Go ahead and say physician. How many syllables in physician? 3. We will say to spell shan. What will we say to spell? Shan. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is fi. Do you see that? It's a two-letter I. Use a ya, I, e. The second syllable is z. Use a z, I. That's an I, e, ya. The third syllable is shan. Sh. Use a short sh, n. Go ahead and write shan. Sounding it out as you write it. It's very important that you sound out words as you write them, as you learn their spellings. Shan. Excellent. Now, help me to write it. Sound it out as I write the word. The first syllable is fi. I. The second syllable is z. Z. I. The third syllable is shan. Sh. A. N. Now, how will we mark it? This is such an interesting word. It's very fun to learn this. We'll underline the and then what sound of ya, I, e do we hear in physician? That's right, it's saying it's I sound. That is its short vowel sound. So we'll mark it with a breve to remind us it's saying its short vowel sound. Now it says physician. So what sound of z do we hear in physician? That's right, it's second sound, z. And here the I is saying I. Why? I and Y may say I or I at the end of the syllable. We have an I and a Y both saying I at the end of the syllable. And then we'll underline the sh. Let's read it. Physician. Now, you often hear at the end in an unstressed syllable, and that's what happens, physician. Why? Because any vowel may say its schwa sound, or I, in an unstressed syllable. This is a word that the logic of English can explain clearly, and there are no exceptions. And when you don't know the phonograms and rules, this word may seem confusing. The next word is rescue. The ambulance crew went to rescue them. Rescue. Go ahead and say rescue. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell res-Q. What will we say to spell? Res-Q. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is res. S. Use a s. The second syllable is Q. K. Use a k. S. U. Silent finally. Go ahead and write res-Q, sounding it out as you write it. And help me to write it. The first syllable is res. S. The second syllable is Q. K. U. Silent finally. Now, how do we mark it? We'll put a line over the U. Why? It said its long sound. And why do we have a silent final E in rescue? English words do not end in V or U, therefore add an E. Let's read it. R-S-K-U. Rescue. Excellent. The next word is favorite. Chocolate is my favorite flavor for dessert. Favorite. Go ahead and say favorite. How many syllables? 3. We will say to spell favorite. What will we say to spell? Favorite. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is fe. A. The second syllable is vor. V, or. The third syllable is it. It. Silent finally. Go ahead and write favorite, sounding it out as you write it. Excellent. And help me to write it. The first syllable is fe, a. The second syllable is vor, v, or. The third syllable is it. Silent final E. How will we mark it? We'll put a line over the A. Why did it say it's long sound? A, E, O, U usually say they're long sounds at the end of the syllable. We'll underline the or. And why do we have a silent final E in favorite if we say to spell favorite? It would be there to make the vowel say its long sound. Now you might be saying to me, why didn't we just say favor it? You clearly hear it. And we could then mark this as an unseen reason. That is up to you. If that's helpful to you, you can do that. For me, it's helpful to remember that that's saying its long sound. And then I like to think about how schwa may say or I in an unstressed syllable. Sometimes with the spelling rules, we have some choices like this. So favorite, and we say favorite. Notice OR is also saying that schwa sound in this word, That's because the stress is favorite. It's right here, and these two syllables are unstressed. The next word is expression. He made a funny expression. Go ahead and say expression. How many syllables in expression? 3. We will say to spell expression. What will we say to spell? Expression. All right, let's sound it out. The first syllable is X. X. The second syllable is press. S. Use a S. The third syllable is shon. Sh. Use a sh. N. Go ahead and write X, press, shon. Sounding it out as you write it. X, press, shon. And help me to write it. The first syllable is X. X. The second syllable is press. S. The third syllable is shon. Sh. N. How will we mark it? We'll underline the sh. Let's read it. X. S. Sh. N. Expression. Now, what is the root word of expression? You're right, it's express. So why did we use the Latin spelling spelled with an SI to spell expression? Because express ends in an S. We can go back and look at the word physician in the same way. What is the root word of physician? It's physic. That's right. So why did we use a CI to spell physician? Because physic ends in a C. And so we added the ending IAN, and here we added the ending ION. And it reformed these Latin spellings of sh. That's pretty neat. The next word is alive. It's alive. Alive. Go ahead and say alive. How many syllables? 2. Do you hear a possible schwa sound? We will say to spell a live. What will we say to spell? A live. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is A. A. The second syllable is live. V. Silent final E. This is an I-E, yeah, if you were wondering. Go ahead and write A live, sounding it out as you write it. And help me to write it. The first syllable is A. The second syllable is live. V. Silent final E. How do we mark it? We'll put a line over the A. Why did it say it's long sound? A, E, O, U usually say their long sounds at the end of the syllable. And why do we have a silent final E in alive? That's right, the vowel said its long sound because of the E. And English words do not end in V or U, therefore add an E. Let's read it. A-L-I-V, alive. Once again, we say alive rather than alive because this is an unstressed syllable. So it is a schwa sound or a lazy vowel. The next word is action. That was a great action shot in the movie. Action. Go ahead and say action. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell action. What will we say to spell? Action. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is ak. Ak. Use a k. S. The second syllable is shan. Sh. Use a tall sh. N. Go ahead and write action, sounding it out as you write it. Excellent. Now help me write it. The first syllable is ak. Ak. The second syllable is shan. Sh. N. And how will we mark it? We'll underline the sh. Let's read it. Action. Action. Now, what is the root of action? You're right, it's act. And we can discover why they used the tall sh to spell action. It's because act ends in a T. So that's why we use TI to spell the Latin spelling of sh in the word action. Are you beginning to see why these are some of my favorite phonograms? The Latin spellings of sh, that is. The next word is edge. The glass is very close to the edge of the table. Go ahead and say edge. Let's sound it out. Edge. Oh, look at that. It's the 3-letter J. Go ahead and write edge. Excellent. And help me to write it. Edge. And how do we mark it? We'll underline the J. Why could we use 3-letter J to spell edge? You're right, it's before a single short vowel. Let's read it. Edge. Edge. The next word is official. The president made an official visit. Official. Go ahead and say official. How many syllables? 3. We will say to spell off, fi, shall. What will we say to spell? Off, fi, shall. Official. All right, let's sound it out. The first syllable is off. Aw, use an A-O-U. The second syllable is fi. I, use an I-E-Y. And then shall, sh, use a short sh, a-o. Go ahead and write off, fi, shall. Excellent. And help me to write it. The first syllable is off. Ah. The second syllable is fi. I. The third syllable is shall. Sh. A. O. And how will we mark it? We'll underline the sh. Why did we use that spelling of sh? Which word is official based off of? It's based off of the word office. Notice that. And so when we added this suffix al, or ial, we dropped the e, and this Latin spelling of sh was formed. Pretty fascinating, isn't it? Let's read it. Official. Official. The next word is direction. What direction should we go? Direction. Go ahead and say direction. How many syllables? 3. Now, before I help you spell it by finger spelling, tell me, what is the root of direction? You're right, it's direct. And what do you hear at the end? A t. Which Latin spelling of sh do you think we'll use in the word direction? That's right, we'll use a tall sh. Look at that. You are able to figure it out on your own. Now, let's sound it out. We will say to spell direction. What will we say to spell? Direction. The first syllable is di. D-I. Use an I-E-Y. The second syllable is rec. R-E-K. Use a k. S. The third syllable is shan. Sh. Use a tall sh. N. Go ahead and write direction. Sean. Sounding it out as you write it. And help me to write it. The first syllable is die, d-I. The second syllable is rec, ek. The third syllable is Sean, sh-a-n. And how will we mark it? We'll put a line over the I. Why did it say its long sound? I and Y may say I or I at the end of the syllable. And then we'll underline the sh. Once again, what is the root of direction? It's direct. That's why we used the tall sh. Let's read it. D-I-R-E-C-T. Oh, sorry. D-I-R-E-C-Sh-A-N. Direction. Excellent. The next word is choose. Will you help me choose the best one? Choose. Go ahead and say choose. Let's sound it out. Ch. Oo. Use an oo, o. Z. Use a s, z. Silent final E. Go ahead and write choose, sounding it out as you write it. And help me to write it. Choose. Ch. Oo. Z. Silent final E. How do we mark it? We'll underline the ch and we'll underline the oo. And what sound of z do we hear in choose? The second. And we'll double underline the E. Why do we have a silent E in choose? I think you're right. I think it's because we don't want English words to end in S unless they're plural nouns, or even in verbs too, where we use the S to show grammatical parts. So I think it's there for the S. Let's read it. Ch-oo-z, choose. The next word is twin. He has a twin brother. Twin. Go ahead and say twin. Let's sound it out. T-w-i-n. Go ahead and write twin. And help me to write it. T-w-i-n. Let's read it. T-w-i-n. Twin. The next word is twice. I repeated it twice. Go ahead and say twice. Let's sound it out. T-w-I. Use an I-E-ya. S. Use a k. S. Silent final E. Go ahead and write twice. And help me to write it. T-w-I-s. Silent final E. Why do I have a silent final E in twice? How many reasons are there? There are two. So what are they? The vowel said its long sound because of the E, and the C softened to S because of the E. Let's read it. T-w-I-s. Twice. Are you starting to see a pattern? Well, let's see if there's more to this pattern. The next word is 12. It is 12 o'clock. 12. Go ahead and say 12. Let's sound it out. T-w-e-l-v. Silent final E. Go ahead and write 12. Good, and help me to write it. T-w-e-l-v. Silent final E. Why do we have a silent E in 12? That's right, English words do not end in V or U, therefore add an E. Let's read it. T-w-e-l-v. 12. Okay, we do have a pattern here, don't we? What is the pattern? Each of these words begins with tw. Well, what do they have in common in their meaning? If you have twins, how many are there? 2. If you do it twice, how many times do you do it? 2. If you have 12, you have 10 and 2 ones. 12. What do you think tw means in English? You're right, it means 2. All right. Well, let's try another word that begins with tw. 20. I have a $20 bill. 20. Go ahead and say 20. How many syllables in 20? 2. We will say to spell twen-T. What will we say to spell? Twen-T. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is twen. T-w-e-n. The second syllable is T. T-E. Use a y-I-I-E. Go ahead and write twen-T. And now help me to write it. The first syllable is twen. T-w-e-n. The second syllable is T. T-E. What sound of y-I-I-E is that? It's the fourth. And why did it say E? Y says E at the end of a multi-syllable word in an unstressed syllable. And there it is. Let's read it. T-w-e-n-T-E. 20. Well, what does 20 have to do with 2? You're right. 20 means 2 groups of 10. All right, our very last word is the number 2. And what do we think, what do we know about that? How the number 2 is represented in English? It's represented by this tw. Now, we don't say twu. However, we will say to spell twu to help us remember. And we can remember its relationship to twin, 12, twice, 12, and 20. So let's sound out twu. T-w-u. Use an a-o-u. Go ahead and write twu, which means 2. And help me to write it. T-w-u. What sound of a-o-u do you hear? It's the broad sound. That's right. And this is silent. We say 2. I wonder if at one time in English it used to be pronounced twu, and if over time the w was dropped. However, English's spelling is a balance of sounds and meaning. And if we dropped the W for the spelling, we would lose the relationship in meaning. I think this has been one of my favorite spelling lists so far.
Combining the science of reading with the joy of learning. Learn more at essentials.logicoфenglish.com.